How to get out of a state of negativity in 7 days. Stoicism. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a spiral of negativity, unable to see a way out? Today on Stoic in Your Life, I'm going to share the powerful journey of transforming dark, draining thoughts into pure, energizing positivity, all within just 7 days. Imagine shifting from a foggy mind to complete clarity, from a burdened heart to one filled with resilience. This isn't magic or a quick fix. It's a path rooted in Stoic wisdom and grounded strategies that have proven to work. Prepare for an empowering week ahead. By the end of this journey, you'll have the tools to stop negativity in its tracks, see life from a new angle, and become calm within the storm. Ready to start? If these insights resonate, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're always in step with the latest lessons. Don't miss a single one. Each day could bring the breakthrough you need. Let's dive in. 1. Recognizing negative thoughts. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Have you ever caught yourself trapped in a loop of negative thoughts, as if they were holding you back from everything you could become? Recognizing these thoughts is the crucial first step in breaking free from their grip and transforming your mental state in just 1 week. Negative thoughts can start subtly, perhaps as a self-critical whisper that grows louder over time, quietly feeding on doubt and uncertainty until they become a fog over your mind. But in the Stoic perspective, this fog is not something beyond our control. Rather, it's a pattern that can be broken with intention and awareness. This means paying close attention to our thoughts and questioning whether they serve us or undermine us. Think of it like a noisy critic in your mind, one who constantly says, "You're not good enough," or "You can't handle this." While these criticisms feel real in the moment, we need to recognize that they are often nothing more than interpretations, opinions we've accepted without question. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Recognizing this truth gives you power. By learning to observe these thoughts without judgment, you begin to see them for what they are, passing notions, not facts. Imagine approaching your mind like a careful craftsman, taking note of each thought without letting it define you. When you catch yourself thinking, "This will never work out," or "I always mess things up," don't simply accept it. Ask yourself if it's truly accurate or just a tired, habitual script playing out in your mind. This level of self-observation is a tool the Stoics mastered to keep themselves grounded, and it's something we can apply in our daily lives. Today, our modern world is filled with challenges, jobs, families, expectations, and disappointments, and it's easy to let these weigh us down mentally. But if we take Seneca's words to heart, we remember that many of our struggles begin in our own minds. Recognizing negative thoughts doesn't mean erasing them or suppressing them. It means acknowledging them, seeing them clearly, and choosing not to let them define our actions or outcomes. So, as you go through your day, practice tuning in to these thoughts. Instead of reacting emotionally or allowing them to grow, take a deep breath and note them without judgment, like clouds drifting by. This practice alone can lift the weight of negativity and put you in the driver's seat. Engaging with your thoughts this way builds resilience over time, a resilience that will allow you to respond rather than react to situations. "He who fears he shall suffer already suffers what he fears," said Montaigne, capturing the power of thoughts to shape our reality. By mindfully observing and questioning your inner dialogue, you create a gap between stimulus and response, allowing yourself to choose how to engage with each challenge you face. Modern life is complex, but the Stoic path reminds us that the key to peace is often simpler than it seems. Know your thoughts, question them, and direct them toward growth. 2. Understanding the root of negative thoughts. To understand the root of negative thoughts, we first have to recognize the hidden weight they carry in our lives. Have you ever felt that a single offhand comment from someone, maybe about your work or your habits, spirals you into a storm of self-doubt or frustration? Often these reactions aren't truly about what was said in that moment. They're deeply rooted in personal beliefs and past experiences we haven't fully resolved. Sometimes these negative thoughts are like seeds planted long ago by our past challenges, failures, or even comments we heard growing up. Each time we faced a setback or were criticized, these seeds sprouted just a little more, growing into a pattern of self-criticism that impacts how we interpret our world today. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality, and so much of this suffering comes from the beliefs we internalize from past experiences." In modern life, where we constantly juggle work, relationships, and personal goals, it's easy to let old, unhelpful beliefs influence how we see ourselves. Maybe you've worked on a project only to convince yourself midway that "I'm not good enough," or "this will never work," echoing doubts that you've carried for years. These thoughts didn't just appear out of nowhere. They're often the result of beliefs that have been left unexamined. For example, imagine someone who was told early in life that they could have done better every time they succeeded at something. Even if it wasn't intended to be harmful, that person may carry a deep-seated feeling that they're never quite enough, leading to negative thoughts whenever they're faced with a challenge. In Stoic terms, these beliefs aren't objective truths. They're impressions we've allowed to grow unchecked. So when these thoughts arise, it's important to pause and ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is this an actual truth, or is it just a story I've been telling myself? Consider a person who struggles with confidence at work, always feeling they fall short. Instead of treating each thought as a truth, they might realize these beliefs stem from previous experiences, where a boss or teacher made them feel less than capable. The moment we begin to see our thoughts as rooted in past beliefs rather than absolute truths, we gain a sense of control over them. Epictetus reminds us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By understanding that these thoughts are not fact but rather responses formed over time, we take away some of their power. This mindset frees us to question, do I really believe this thought, or is it something I've just accepted out of habit? It helps us bring a sense of curiosity and self-compassion to our inner dialogue rather than harsh judgment. In your journey, think about moments when you've reacted strongly to something small, realizing that the depth of the reaction came from somewhere much deeper. Reflect on whether these reactions are helping you or simply reinforcing old doubts. Each time you pause to examine the origins of a thought, you're taking a step closer to freeing yourself from negativity. This process allows you to approach each day with more resilience, as you're no longer carrying the full weight of past beliefs. And here's where the real power lies. Once you start recognizing the roots of your negative thoughts, you're no longer at their mercy. You can let go of thoughts that limit you and replace them with ones that empower you. In the end, the lesson is clear. Understanding your thoughts' origins is essential to breaking free from them. Instead of accepting every negative thought at face value, pause and investigate. This is how we begin to shift from living reactively to living intentionally, guided by the wisdom of our experiences but not bound by their shadows. 3. Cognitive restructuring. Cognitive restructuring is all about transforming the way we think by challenging our automatic, often negative responses to situations. Imagine the last time you faced a challenge or something unexpected happened. Maybe a project didn't go as planned or a close friend let you down. Did your mind immediately go to thoughts like, "Why does this always happen to me?" Or, "I'm just not good enough to handle this"? When we think this way, we're reinforcing a negative pattern that keeps us in a cycle of self-doubt and disappointment. Stoic philosophy teaches us that our thoughts have a massive influence on our lives, reminding us that we don't suffer from events themselves, but from the way we think about them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea lies at the heart of cognitive restructuring, a way to reshape our thinking by identifying these automatic thoughts and challenging them head-on. So how do we begin? First, let's start by acknowledging that we all have automatic thoughts that spring up, almost reflexively, when we're faced with something challenging. It could be a nagging voice that says, "I'm going to fail," or a whisper that insists, "They don't respect me." But if we take these thoughts as absolute truths, they start to shape our view of ourselves and the world in ways that limit us. The Stoics would argue that these thoughts are like illusions, misleading us from the reality of who we are and what we're capable of. So ask yourself, is this thought helping me, or is it holding me back? Instead of letting it dictate your emotions, observe the thought, almost as if you were a curious bystander, and consider if it truly reflects reality, or if it's merely an assumption you've come to believe over time. This brings us to the next step in cognitive restructuring, questioning the validity of your thoughts. When you find yourself thinking, "I always mess things up," or "I'll never be good enough," challenge that narrative. Where's the evidence? Have there been times when you actually succeeded or managed well? By seeking out evidence that contradicts your negative thought, you'll often find that these blanket statements aren't entirely accurate. As Epictetus wisely advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He reminds us that we can reinterpret our experiences in ways that empower rather than defeat us. When you counter your thoughts with facts, you can start to dismantle the false beliefs that have held you back. Cognitive restructuring is not about ignoring the reality of a situation, but about seeing it clearly and deciding how you want to engage with it. But there's more to this process than just questioning thoughts. It also involves replacing them with constructive ones. When a thought tells you, "You'll fail," replace it with, "This is an opportunity to learn." Or if you're thinking, "I'm not good enough," reframe it to, "I'm still growing, and every experience teaches me something." By redirecting your thoughts in this way, you're training your mind to see possibilities where it used to see limitations. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to be overly optimistic, but rather adopting a balanced perspective that respects the reality of your experiences while allowing for growth and resilience. Imagine you're rewriting a script in your mind, one that's compassionate, realistic, and focused on progress. When negative thoughts arise, see them as invitations to think differently, to strengthen your perspective, and to take control of your inner narrative. Cognitive restructuring is a process, one that requires patience and daily practice. Think about how many years we spend reinforcing negative beliefs. It's natural that changing them will take time. Yet each time you catch yourself in a spiral of negativity and choose to challenge and reshape that thought, you're building mental strength and resilience. You're empowering yourself to step out of the patterns that have kept you down and start creating new, more empowering beliefs. And while it might feel uncomfortable at first, remember that, as the Stoics believed, true growth often comes from embracing discomfort and seeing it as a teacher. So when you feel resistance to changing your thoughts, ask yourself, what could I gain from seeing this differently? Often it's the thoughts we most resist challenging that have the greatest power to change our lives once we do. Ultimately, the goal of cognitive restructuring is to help you live with a greater sense of calm, clarity, and purpose. It's about building the mental resilience to face life's challenges with an open mind and a balanced perspective. The next time you find yourself caught in a negative thought pattern, remind yourself of this. I have the power to choose my response. As Marcus Aurelius taught, we don't need to be imprisoned by our minds. We have the ability to shape our thoughts in ways that free us. Reflect on how different your life could be if you approached each day with the confidence that your thoughts are allies rather than obstacles. Cognitive restructuring offers you that chance. The chance to rewrite your mind's story and, in doing so, to transform how you experience life. How will you choose to think differently today? 4. The power of affirmation. Affirmation is a way of taking control of our minds, intentionally focusing on what strengthens us instead of what drains us. A reminder that is rooted in the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Seneca once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions," which reminds us of the importance of choosing how we think about ourselves and our goals. When we speak to ourselves with purpose, using affirmations that uplift and empower, we take an active role in shaping our reality. But affirmations aren't just repeating feel-good phrases. They're about consciously redirecting our thoughts in ways that reflect our goals and values, especially when facing negativity. Let's face it, negativity creeps in without warning, like a shadow cast over your day. You might find yourself saying, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough," which are thoughts that do nothing but reinforce old doubts and insecurities. Affirmations, on the other hand, are about interrupting these patterns and replacing them with thoughts that are grounded in self-respect and growth. How do we use affirmations effectively? First, by making them specific and personal to who you are and what you aim to achieve. If you're struggling with confidence at work, rather than saying, "I am successful," you could affirm, "I bring value and dedication to every project I take on." The key is that your affirmations should feel authentic, believable, and aligned with what you're striving to become. "You become what you give your attention to," said Epictetus, capturing the importance of directing our thoughts mindfully. This practice of affirming positive beliefs about yourself isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about acknowledging your potential and reinforcing a mindset that encourages resilience and growth. By doing this, you create mental pathways that are much harder for negativity to travel down, and instead, your mind becomes a well-tuned compass pointing you toward progress. In today's world, where stress and self-doubt are almost expected, affirmations give you a moment of control, a pause to steer your mindset where you want it to go. Let's say you're faced with a stressful situation at work or in your personal life. A negative thought may try to convince you that the situation is beyond your abilities. In that moment, an affirmation like, "I am capable of handling whatever comes my way," doesn't change the situation, but changes how you approach it. The words you use for yourself are the same words that form your internal dialogue, and over time, they shape the beliefs you carry about who you are and what you can accomplish. This practice doesn't just lift you up in the moment, but builds a foundation of mental strength that endures. "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts," said Marcus Aurelius, and this is exactly what affirmations are doing. They're coloring your mindset in a way that supports your best self. What's important to remember is that affirmations are most powerful when they're consistent. Start your day with one that feels right for you, or keep a few close at hand for when challenges arise. For instance, as you begin your morning, saying something like, "I approach today with calm and purpose," can set the tone for a balanced day. Or in moments of stress, affirming, "I have overcome challenges before and will do so again," reminds you of your past strength and future potential. It's all about crafting these words in a way that acknowledges your own growth, your power, and your resilience. Over time, you'll find that affirmations are not just words. They're reminders of the path you're choosing to walk. The lesson here is that affirmations are a form of mental discipline, shaping how we experience life by filtering out the noise of negativity and tuning into a voice that encourages us. When we align our words with our intentions, we are actively reinforcing a mindset that is better equipped to handle challenges. Ask yourself, how would your life be different if you began each day with thoughts that uplifted you instead of ones that wore you down? Affirmations are a tool to make that shift, a conscious way to choose strength, focus, and calm in the face of life's uncertainties. 5. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation are powerful practices, but they're often misunderstood as complex or mystical. At their core, they're simply ways to train our minds to stay present, to observe our thoughts without being overwhelmed by them, and to cultivate a sense of calm amidst the noise of daily life. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This is the essence of mindfulness. It offers a retreat, a moment of stillness that we can return to anytime, anywhere, no matter what life throws our way. In today's fast-paced world, where information and stress come at us from every angle, it's easy to feel trapped in negativity and lose touch with the present. But when we bring mindfulness into our lives, we create a space that helps us step back from our thoughts, see them for what they are, and regain control over our emotional state. Have you ever noticed how a single negative thought can ruin your entire day? Maybe it's a criticism at work, a missed deadline, or a worry about the future. Without realizing it, that thought snowballs, and before you know it, your mind is in overdrive, filled with worries and what-ifs. The purpose of mindfulness isn't to ignore these thoughts, but to approach them with curiosity and calmness. Instead of being swept away by them, mindfulness invites us to observe them, like watching clouds drift by in the sky. It helps us understand that our thoughts are not facts. They're simply mental events that we don't have to react to or believe in automatically. As Epictetus said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This insight lies at the heart of mindfulness, learning to respond instead of react, to approach each moment with a sense of calm and awareness rather than letting our minds run on autopilot. Mindfulness and meditation are not just theoretical. They're practical tools that can bring real, lasting change into our lives. A story that often resonates is about a professional who found himself overwhelmed by stress. Day after day, he would wake up already dreading the day, his mind filled with negative thoughts before he even had his first coffee. But he decided to try something different. Every morning, he spent just 5 minutes focusing on his breath, bringing his attention back each time his mind wandered. Gradually, he noticed a shift. He wasn't perfect at it, far from it, but those few minutes allowed him to center himself, to recognize the unhelpful thoughts that would normally control his day. Over time, this simple practice gave him the clarity to face each day with a bit more peace, a bit more resilience. It didn't remove all his problems, but it changed his relationship with them. This is the power of mindfulness. It doesn't eliminate challenges, but gives us the strength to face them differently. Now you might wonder, how do I start? The answer is simpler than you might think. Begin by setting aside a few minutes each day, finding a quiet spot, and focusing on your breath. When thoughts arise, don't push them away. Just notice them, and then gently bring your focus back to your breath. This is meditation in its simplest form, a way to train the mind to let go, to stop clinging to every thought and worry. And you don't need to meditate for hours to see a difference. Even a few minutes of daily practice can help you feel more grounded, more present, and more capable of handling stress. The beauty of mindfulness is that it can be practiced anytime, anywhere. You can be mindful when you're walking, eating, or even doing chores. By bringing your attention to the present, you stop living in the what-ifs of the future or the regrets of the past, and start fully experiencing each moment as it comes. So the next time you're overwhelmed or find yourself trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, remember that mindfulness and meditation are there as tools for you. They're ways to reconnect with yourself, to center your mind, and to regain a sense of control over your emotional state. Start small, be consistent, and gradually you'll find yourself more at peace, better able to face whatever life brings. And ask yourself, what would your days look like if you approached each one with a calm mind and a centered heart? In practicing mindfulness, you're not just learning to manage negativity, you're learning to live with more clarity, resilience, and strength. This journey is a practice, one that the Stoics and many before us embraced, knowing that a calm mind is the foundation of a meaningful life. Thank you for being here and joining this journey toward a more positive and resilient mindset. What's one strategy you found helpful in overcoming negativity or maintaining a positive outlook? I'd love to hear your experiences or insights. If you're unsure what to comment, consider sharing a simple thought like, I try to focus on things I can control, or I find gratitude practices really help me. Your stories and reflections could inspire others on a similar path. 6. The importance of gratitude. Gratitude is often spoken of as a simple, almost quaint idea, but its power is profound, especially when we find ourselves stuck in cycles of negativity. As Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude shifts our perspective by bringing us back to the present and helping us see the good that still exists, even when life feels challenging. Many people think gratitude only applies to the big things, landing a new job, buying a new house, or reaching a milestone. But the truth is that the most impactful form of gratitude is the one we find in the little things, the ones we often overlook. It could be the warmth of your morning coffee, a smile from a friend, or even the simple act of taking a deep breath. When we start to notice and appreciate these small moments, we begin to train our minds to see life through a different lens, one that's not weighed down by negativity. This shift isn't about ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about learning to balance the weight of life's challenges with the lightness of the blessings we often forget to acknowledge. Have you ever noticed how a single complaint can change the course of your day, even when it starts off well? It's amazing how easy it is to focus on what's missing or wrong rather than what's good and present. But think about this. What would happen if, each time you felt yourself drifting toward negativity, you paused and asked yourself, "What can I appreciate right now?" This is the foundation of gratitude, an invitation to look at your life and choose to recognize its value. "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has," said Epictetus. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a conscious choice, a practice of actively noticing the positive elements around us, even in tough moments. This is especially powerful when life feels overwhelming because gratitude acts like an anchor, grounding us in the present and reminding us of the resilience we have within. In our modern, fast-paced lives, we're constantly encouraged to seek more success, more possessions, more accomplishments. But gratitude slows us down and teaches us to value what we already have. It's a reminder that contentment doesn't come from external achievements, but from within. Picture someone who is constantly dissatisfied, always feeling like they need more to be happy. Even when they reach one goal, they quickly shift their focus to the next thing, never pausing to appreciate their journey. By cultivating gratitude, we stop moving through life with that endless craving for more and start finding peace in the present. Instead of chasing happiness, we allow happiness to find us in the here and now. And if you're wondering how to start a gratitude practice, try this simple exercise. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. Over time, you'll find that this habit not only lifts your mood but also reshapes your mindset, making you more resilient to negativity and more appreciative of life's simple joys. Gratitude is like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And when life feels heavy, gratitude doesn't erase the weight of our problems, but it helps us carry it with greater ease. We start to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth, and we remind ourselves that there is still good to be found in every day. So the next time you feel stuck in negativity, ask yourself, what small thing can I be grateful for right now? It might be a quiet moment, a supportive friend, or even a lesson learned from a difficult experience. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures. It thrives in the little things, the moments we often take for granted. As you go through your day, look for these moments, notice them, appreciate them. This is how we begin to move out of negativity and into a place of greater peace, strength, and happiness. Because at the end of the day, a grateful mind is a resilient mind, one that can weather life's storms and still find beauty in the simplest of things. 7. Reprogramming the subconscious. Reprogramming the subconscious may sound complex, but it's actually about understanding and reshaping the deep-seated beliefs that shape our daily lives and actions. These subconscious beliefs often develop over years, often without our realizing it. and they can hold us back with a constant undercurrent of negativity or self-doubt. It's like walking around with a pair of tinted glasses that color the world in shades of gray. Stoic wisdom teaches us the importance of becoming aware of these mental filters and changing them. As Epictetus wisely noted, we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. Our subconscious can become a source of negative views, reinforcing limitations we unknowingly set for ourselves. Reprogramming the subconscious is about becoming aware of these ingrained thoughts and beliefs, questioning their validity, and replacing them with ones that support our growth and resilience. Think about how many of your automatic reactions are rooted in beliefs you've held for years, perhaps decades. For instance, maybe you've always thought of yourself as not the confident type or as someone who just doesn't take risks. These ideas may seem harmless, but over time, they create barriers that shape how you approach everything from relationships to career choices. When we start to recognize that these thoughts are not universal truths but rather conditioned responses, we open ourselves to the possibility of change. But how do we actually reprogram these deep-rooted beliefs? One way is by introducing positive affirmations that counter these limiting beliefs. Each time you tell yourself, "I am capable," or "I am worthy of success," you're planting a seed of a new belief. It may feel strange or forced at first, but repetition is key. Just as negative beliefs took root through years of repetition, positive beliefs can do the same if we intentionally and consistently reinforce them. Another powerful tool for reprogramming the subconscious is visualization. Marcus Aurelius in his wisdom reminded us to look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. Visualization is like digging into that fountain. It allows us to picture ourselves achieving our goals, handling challenges, and embodying the qualities we aspire to have. By visualizing success, resilience, and confidence, we start training our minds to accept these possibilities as real and achievable. Let's say you're someone who often feels anxious in social situations. Visualize yourself walking into a room with calm confidence, engaging in conversation easily, and enjoying the moment. This mental rehearsal can start to create new neural pathways in the brain that align with the person you're working to become, making it easier for you to embody these qualities in real life. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves reacting without thinking, especially when faced with stress. These are moments when subconscious beliefs are at their strongest, steering us toward old, familiar patterns. But reprogramming the subconscious is about 8. Building a positive support network. Building a positive support network is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward transforming a mindset stuck in negativity into one that's open, resilient, and forward-looking. As humans, we're deeply social beings, and the company we keep has a huge impact on our mental state, outlook, and even our behavior. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Think about it. Have you ever left a conversation feeling drained and weighed down, or on the other hand, feeling energized and hopeful? That difference is often the impact of the people you surround yourself with. We absorb the attitudes, perspectives, and even the habits of those we interact with most. This means that if you're surrounded by people who often dwell on negativity or discouragement, it can be challenging to break out of that mindset yourself. But by intentionally building a network of positive, supportive individuals, you can create an environment that uplifts you, challenges you in a constructive way, and encourages your personal growth. Consider a story of a man who was constantly surrounded by peers who saw life as a series of inevitable setbacks. No matter how hard he tried to stay optimistic, he would find himself absorbing their perspectives, doubting his goals, and falling into the same cycles of frustration. But when he began to connect with people who valued growth and encouraged him to see challenges as learning opportunities, his outlook started to change. Suddenly, his setbacks became stepping stones. He felt supported, and his confidence grew. This is what a positive support network does. It reframes obstacles and reminds you of your strengths. We are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle famously noted, And by surrounding ourselves with people who embody the mindset we aim to develop, we reinforce those attitudes in ourselves too. So, how do you go about building a support network that truly benefits you? First, seek out people who align with your values and who bring out the best in you. This doesn't mean only surrounding yourself with those who agree with you on everything. In fact, constructive disagreement can help you grow. But these should be people who respect your journey and push you to grow in ways that align with your goals. Reflect on the people in your life right now. Who encourages you when you need it most? Who listens without judgment and reminds you of your worth? And who, on the other hand, seems to drain you or keeps pulling you back into negative thinking? The Stoics believed in building relationships based on mutual respect and wisdom. And part of building a positive network is discerning which relationships truly nurture your growth. If you're not sure where to find these people, start by engaging in communities that share your interests or goals. Whether it's a local group, an online community, or a club focused on something you're passionate about, placing yourself in environments where people are actively working towards something can bring you into contact with those who share a growth-oriented mindset. And remember, building a network doesn't mean gathering a large number of people. Even a few genuine connections can have a significant impact. Epictetus reminds us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. A small, genuine support network can be far more valuable than a large group that doesn't truly support your growth. At the end of the day, ask yourself, how would it feel to be surrounded by people who bring out the best in you? How different would your perspective on life's challenges be if you knew you had people in your corner who encouraged your progress and believed in your potential? By surrounding yourself with those who uplift and inspire you, you're laying the foundation for a mindset that can weather negativity and stay grounded in strength. Remember that this journey isn't just about what you take from these relationships, but also what you contribute. By being a positive force for others, you reinforce positivity in yourself. So seek out those who encourage you, stay connected, and invest in relationships that add value to your life. In the process, you'll build a network that supports you in moving past negativity and toward a life of greater resilience, joy, and purpose. 9. Managing stress and self-care. Managing stress and embracing self-care are essential steps in overcoming negativity, but they often go overlooked in the pursuit of success or the hustle of daily life. As humans, we tend to prioritize external achievements, like advancing in our careers, meeting others' expectations, or managing countless responsibilities, and we often forget that our mental and physical well-being is what sustains everything we do. Seneca once said, "The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable." This reminder tells us that stress isn't only about external pressures, it's largely about how we perceive and respond to them. Without good self-care, stress becomes overwhelming, affecting our focus, relationships, and even our ability to enjoy life. But self-care is more than taking a break. It's a commitment to nurturing ourselves and recognizing that our well-being is just as valuable as the goals we chase. Think about a time when you felt completely drained and overwhelmed. Did you push through, telling yourself there was no time to rest? Many people live like this, ignoring their own limits and treating self-care as a luxury instead of a necessity. But stress, left unmanaged, can become a heavy weight that impacts every part of life, from our mental clarity to our physical health. The Stoics understood this well. Epictetus advised, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." This isn't about escaping responsibilities. It's about taking a step back and giving ourselves the care needed to handle them effectively. When we make time to care for ourselves, whether through meditation, deep breathing, exercise, or spending time on activities that bring us peace, we are better equipped to face challenges with a clear mind and strong spirit. Imagine someone who constantly works late into the night, skips meals, and never takes time for rest. Eventually, they reach a point of exhaustion and burnout, where even small tasks feel impossible. This is a common experience for many, but by committing to self-care, we can avoid these extremes and build resilience. When we incorporate stress management techniques into our daily lives, we're not just handling immediate pressures. We're also preparing ourselves to handle future challenges with greater strength. You might ask yourself, what simple practices could I add to my day to make a difference? Small actions, like setting aside time each morning for mindfulness, walking in nature, or even making sure you get enough rest each night, can be incredibly powerful. Self-care doesn't require drastic changes or hours of commitment. It's about finding what works for you and doing it consistently. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to see self-care as unproductive, something that takes away from achieving our goals. But in reality, it's the very foundation that allows us to perform at our best. Marcus Aurelius taught, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By taking care of ourselves, we gain more control over how we respond to the world. We stop reacting impulsively to stress and instead learn to navigate it calmly and purposefully. Ask yourself, how different would my life be if I approached stress with a calm and prepared mind? This is what self-care offers, a toolkit for resilience, clarity, and balance, giving us the inner resources to stay steady in the face of adversity. Ultimately, managing stress and practicing self-care are not selfish acts. They're acts of wisdom. They ensure that you're prepared not just for today, but for the demands of tomorrow. When we make self-care a regular part of our lives, we break free from cycles of burnout and negativity, allowing ourselves to live with more intention, joy, and focus. So, next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, what can I do for my well-being right now? Recognize that this small act of care is a step toward a healthier, more fulfilling life. When you prioritize self-care, you're following the Stoic way, strengthening your mind and body to face life's challenges with calmness, resilience, and wisdom. 10. Setting goals and purpose. Setting goals and having a clear sense of purpose is essential for breaking free from negativity, as it gives direction and meaning to each day. Without purposeful goals, life can feel like drifting in an open sea with no clear direction or sense of progress. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If we allow our minds to be colored by aimlessness or doubt, it's easy to fall into negativity. But when we set goals that align with a greater purpose, we give our thoughts, actions, and intentions a positive focus. It's not just about setting any goals, it's about defining ones that resonate with our values and that we truly want to pursue. This is the foundation for turning everyday actions into steps towards something meaningful, which has the power to lift us out of negativity and keep us moving forward. Setting goals begins with self-reflection. Start by asking yourself, what do I genuinely want to achieve in my life? Often we're tempted to set goals based on others' expectations or societal pressures, but Stoicism teaches us to turn inward and define what truly matters to us. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This wisdom encourages us to look inward first, identifying what truly resonates, and then to act on it with intention. Are there skills you've always wanted to develop, habits you want to adopt, or values you want to live by more fully? By setting specific goals in these areas, you build a roadmap that serves as a guide, helping you to stay on course even when life throws challenges your way. When setting goals, break them down into achievable, realistic steps. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by ambitious dreams if we look at them as one massive task. But by dividing them into smaller, actionable steps, we create a path that we can follow, one step at a time. For instance, if your goal is to improve your health, start with simple actions like drinking more water daily, or setting aside time for a quick walk. These small, consistent actions add up, gradually building momentum and making the larger goal feel achievable. Seneca wisely noted, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life." When we focus on taking consistent actions daily, each day becomes a step toward fulfilling our goals and purpose. Having purpose-driven goals doesn't just provide structure, It gives our lives a sense of meaning that makes the daily challenges easier to handle. With a clear purpose in mind, obstacles and setbacks aren't roadblocks. They're parts of the journey that help us grow. This perspective shift helps keep us positive and resilient as we begin to see difficulties as learning opportunities rather than defeats. The Stoics believed that a meaningful life was one lived in harmony with one's values and intentions. Purpose helps us remember why we started and encourages us to stay focused even when we feel tempted to give up. Ask yourself, how will achieving this goal change my life? When your goals are aligned with a sense of purpose, even the smallest actions feel worthwhile. Ultimately, setting goals aligned with your values and having a clear purpose helps you focus on what truly matters. Each day becomes a step toward a life that feels fulfilling and authentic, reducing the grip of negativity. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection, and every small step you take toward your goal reinforces your resilience and brings you closer to the life you envision. So start today by identifying one purpose-driven goal, break it down, and take that first step forward. As you make steady progress, you'll find that a life lived with intention and clarity of purpose is one of the best antidotes to negativity, filling each day with meaning and motivation. If you've made it this far, you're on the path to a powerful mindset shift. Drop a comment saying, "I choose positivity," to show your commitment to breaking free from negativity. Stick around. Your journey is just beginning. 11. Cultivating resilience. Cultivating resilience is an essential part of rising above negativity, as it provides us with the strength to keep moving forward even when life gets difficult. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship, it's about developing the inner strength to face challenges head-on and come through them even stronger. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." This truth reminds us that resilience is about the bravery to endure, to get back up after every setback, and to trust that each obstacle teaches us something valuable. Think about it. How often do we let ourselves get defeated by a single setback or a moment of failure? Cultivating resilience helps us change our perspective so that we see these moments as opportunities for growth instead of defeats. Building resilience means building our capacity to withstand the storms that life inevitably brings, and finding a way to maintain our balance despite them. Take, for example, the story of a friend who recently lost his job. He had dedicated years to his position and suddenly found himself without a steady income and facing a deep sense of doubt. Initially, he felt overwhelmed, but instead of letting that moment define him, he chose to lean into resilience. Every day, he focused on finding small ways to rebuild, networking, updating his resume, learning new skills. Slowly, he began to see his setback as an opportunity to reinvent himself rather than as a failure. This shift in mindset, a refusal to be defeated, is the heart of resilience. And resilience doesn't mean pretending things are fine when they're not. It means acknowledging the struggle, then finding a way to push forward, one small step at a time. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This philosophy gives us the tools to see obstacles as temporary, to respond with courage rather than despair, and to build an unshakable core that can withstand life's unpredictability. Resilience often starts by recognizing that life won't always go according to plan, but our reaction to challenges is within our control. In today's fast-paced, unpredictable world, resilience becomes a personal anchor. Whether it's dealing with a job loss, a relationship ending, or personal setbacks, cultivating resilience allows us to see these situations for what they are, moments that test us, but don't define us. Ask yourself, how do I usually react when things don't go as planned? Understanding your initial reactions is an important step in developing resilience, as it gives you insight into areas where you can grow stronger. For example, if you tend to withdraw or blame yourself when things go wrong, Focus instead on how you can use these moments to learn and adapt. It's this kind of reflection that helps us see setbacks as teachers, not threats, and enables us to step forward with greater strength. The journey to resilience also involves practicing self-compassion. Resilience isn't about harsh self-criticism. It's about understanding that everyone has their struggles, and sometimes, getting through a tough day is a victory in itself. By being kind to ourselves, we create the mental space to process what we're going through, without judgment, giving ourselves room to heal and move forward. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle is a chance to strengthen our resilience. So rather than viewing hardships as blocks in our path, we can see them as the path itself, teaching us patience, adaptability, and inner strength. In building resilience, remember that it's not an overnight process, but rather a lifelong practice. It's like building a muscle. You start small, tackling smaller challenges before building up to bigger ones. Each time you face adversity, you become a little bit stronger, a little bit more equipped to handle the next storm. Reflect on how resilient you've already been in your life and use that as a foundation to build upon. Resilience isn't about becoming immune to hardship. It's about developing a mindset that can adapt, learn, and grow from every experience. So, the next time you face a setback, ask yourself, what is this challenge teaching me? By embracing this question, you shift from seeing yourself as a victim to seeing yourself as a student of life, capable of handling anything that comes your way. The lesson here is that cultivating resilience is the key to enduring life's ups and downs with grace and strength. When we develop resilience, we move through life with a steady mind and an open heart, knowing that no setback can truly defeat us. Resilience allows us to rise above negativity, to continue on our path despite adversity, and to find meaning in even the hardest moments. 12. The power of creativity and play. The power of creativity and play is often overlooked, especially as adults, but it's one of the most effective ways to pull ourselves out of negativity and reintroduce a sense of lightness into our lives. In the hustle of day-to-day responsibilities, we tend to think of creativity and play as things only meant for children or as unproductive activities, but the truth is that they are essential to our well-being and mental resilience. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Engaging in creative activities allows us to experience this kind of happiness, fully present, curious, and without the weight of constant worry. When we make time for creative pursuits, we break out of rigid thought patterns, allowing ourselves to see life from new perspectives. Play doesn't have to mean picking up a paintbrush or playing a game. It's anything that brings joy, curiosity, and a sense of freedom, whether it's trying out a new recipe, writing in a journal, or exploring a new place. Think about it. How often do we get stuck in routines, feeling weighed down by the same problems or worries? The more we try to think our way out of negative thoughts, the deeper we can end up feeling stuck. But when we engage in creative activities, we shift our focus from overthinking to exploring and creating. It's like giving the mind a chance to breathe. For example, imagine someone who's struggling with stress from work. Instead of dwelling on it all weekend, they decide to spend an hour building a model, cooking a new recipe, or gardening. This creative break doesn't solve their work stress, but it offers a temporary escape and refreshes their mind, allowing them to return to their responsibilities with a new outlook. As Epictetus advised, man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. Creativity helps us shift our perspective and approach our challenges from a fresh, less stressful angle. Engaging in play and creativity also taps into our innate curiosity, something that we naturally lose as we get older. In childhood, play was how we learned about the world, experimented, and made sense of things. But somewhere along the line, we tend to let that curiosity fade. We may tell ourselves, "I don't have time for this," or "I'm not artistic." But play doesn't require talent or hours of commitment. The point is to let go of expectations and allow yourself to engage in something simply for the enjoyment of it. Ask yourself, when was the last time you tried something new just for fun, without expecting a specific outcome? Activities that encourage playfulness and creativity are not only refreshing, they teach us to approach life's uncertainties with flexibility and openness. This sense of play can even help us build resilience, as it fosters an adaptable mindset that's not thrown off course by every obstacle. In our modern, fast-paced lives, where productivity is often prioritized over joy, integrating play into your routine may seem difficult, but it can be simple. You don't have to make drastic changes. Start with small steps, like setting aside just 10 minutes a day to draw, write, or play a quick game. Gradually, you'll notice that these moments act as mental resets, where you step outside the day's stresses and allow yourself to recharge. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When we engage in creativity and play, we add new colors to our lives, opening up possibilities for joy, curiosity, and even peace. Creativity and play aren't just optional. They're essential tools for nurturing a balanced, resilient mind. The next time you feel trapped in negativity, ask yourself what small act of creativity or playfulness you can add to your day. Let these moments remind you that life isn't just about duties and challenges, but also about finding moments of wonder and exploration. Embracing creativity and play gives us the energy to face life's difficulties with a lighter, more open heart, proving that even the simplest activities can help us step out of negativity and experience life with renewed enthusiasm. 13. Long-term integration and maintenance. Long-term integration and maintenance of positive habits is the foundation of lasting change, especially when you're working to break free from negativity. It's not about making a quick change or trying out a strategy for a week. It's about embedding these principles so deeply into your life that they become part of who you are. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This approach encourages us to start with a vision of the person we want to become, then to adopt daily actions that reinforce that vision. Integrating positive practices, whether it's gratitude, resilience, or mindful thinking, into your life for the long haul requires intention, patience, and consistency. Think about it this way. Just as a tree takes time to grow strong roots, building a resilient mindset requires steady, deliberate actions over time, actions that deepen your foundation and make you more grounded against life's inevitable challenges. In today's fast-paced world, the urge to seek instant results is overwhelming. Many people start new habits with excitement only to let them fall by the wayside when things get busy. But true growth is about small, consistent steps, not massive leaps. When you approach change with the mindset that each day is an opportunity to strengthen your new habits, you stop seeing challenges as setbacks and instead as part of the journey. For instance, let's say you're working on cultivating gratitude. Instead of feeling pressured to feel grateful at every moment, start by noticing one thing each day that brings you a sense of appreciation. Seneca reminds us, "He who is brave is free." By bravely choosing to show up for these practices each day, you free yourself from the pressure to be perfect and allow room for gradual growth. This makes long-term change feel less overwhelming and more achievable, as you commit to small, consistent actions rather than setting yourself up with unrealistic expectations. The integration of positive habits is also about flexibility. Life will throw you off course at times, but resilience comes from knowing how to adjust and keep moving forward. There may be days when your practices slip or when you feel unmotivated, and that's natural. What matters is having a plan to get back on track. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." When you make a commitment to these practices, even imperfectly, you're continuously moving toward the person you aspire to be. To make this sustainable, consider tracking your progress or setting gentle reminders. Each time you return to your habits, you reinforce your dedication to your long-term goals, and over time, these positive actions will become second nature. For many, The biggest challenge of integrating and maintaining these practices is staying mindful of their purpose amidst life's distractions. Think about your daily routines. How often do they run on autopilot? By regularly reconnecting with why you chose to cultivate these habits in the first place, you're more likely to stay dedicated. Ask yourself, what impact will these habits have on my future self? This simple question can keep you motivated and focused, even when immediate results aren't obvious. Remember that the Stoics lived by the principle of intentionality, believing that purpose-driven actions are the root of a fulfilling life. Each small action you take today plants a seed for tomorrow, creating a long-term positive impact on your well-being and mindset. The goal of long-term integration and maintenance is not to become someone who never feels negativity or faces setbacks. It's to become someone who is equipped to handle them with strength and perspective. When you commit to these practices consistently, they become a powerful part of your character, enabling you to approach life with a calm, resilient mindset. So ask yourself, what can you do today, however small, to support the person you want to be tomorrow? By weaving these practices into your life, you not only make room for lasting positive change, but also prepare yourself to live with greater purpose, resilience, and inner peace. 14. The importance of continuous self-evaluation. Continuous self-evaluation is one of the most powerful tools in staying resilient and grounded, especially when working to overcome negativity. It's about regularly checking in with ourselves, examining our actions, thoughts, and emotions to ensure they align with our goals and values. Seneca wisely advised, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This perspective on life reminds us that growth doesn't happen by accident. It's a conscious process of reflection, learning, and adjusting. Think of self-evaluation like a compass. Without it, we can lose our way, especially when life's challenges hit hard, or our routines become so automatic that we drift from our intentions. When we engage in regular self-reflection, we keep ourselves on course, making sure that each day moves us a little closer to the person we want to be. Let's consider a relatable example. A man who's trying to break free from negative thinking finds himself constantly reverting to old habits of doubt or self-criticism. He sets new goals, but each time he gets stressed or overwhelmed, he slips back into familiar patterns. Instead of getting discouraged, he decides to take time each week to ask himself simple, yet powerful questions. How did I handle this week's challenges? Where did I fall back into negativity? And what could I do differently next time? This process allows him to pinpoint where he struggled and to actively make adjustments, rather than just hoping things will improve on their own. It's a proactive approach that the Stoics themselves valued, knowing that each day, each action, can be a chance to improve. As Epictetus said, progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily. By evaluating his behavior and his reactions, he's able to move forward with clarity, knowing what to improve, while also celebrating his wins. Continuous self-evaluation doesn't mean being overly critical or dwelling on mistakes. It's about observing yourself with honesty and compassion, seeing where you're aligned with your goals and where you're not, and making adjustments that help you move forward. This practice can feel like a reset button, allowing you to leave behind what didn't work and refine what does. In a world that's constantly changing, self-evaluation gives you the flexibility to grow in ways that are meaningful to you. By taking a few moments each day or week to assess your progress, you're ensuring that your actions reflect your values and that you're moving in a direction you're proud of. Ask yourself, how can I improve my reactions to challenges, and what habits can I nurture to support my growth? Ultimately, self-evaluation is about holding yourself accountable and recognizing that growth is a journey, not a destination. It's about building resilience, not perfection, and knowing that even setbacks can serve as stepping stones toward a better version of yourself. By committing to this practice of continuous self-assessment, you're giving yourself the freedom to adapt and improve, to align your actions with your purpose, and to live each day with intention. So next time you find yourself feeling stuck, take a moment to reflect. This is where growth truly begins, with a willingness to look inward and make small, steady changes toward a life of meaning and clarity. 15. Integrating Stoic philosophy into daily life. Integrating Stoic philosophy into daily life is more than just understanding ancient wisdom. It's about using practical tools to build resilience, find inner peace, and develop a mindset that helps us handle whatever life throws our way. Stoicism, after all, teaches that we can't always control our circumstances, but we can control how we respond to them. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about the power in that simple truth. How often do we let setbacks or the actions of others affect our peace of mind? Integrating Stoic practices into your day helps create a mental framework where you're no longer at the mercy of external events. Instead, you begin to build an inner calm and clarity that stay with you, even in challenging times. One of the easiest ways to start is by practicing the idea of focusing only on what you can control. Ask yourself throughout the day, is this within my control? When something doesn't go as planned, traffic, someone else's words, unexpected changes, remind yourself to focus only on your own response. This simple shift in thinking can reduce stress and help you regain control over your emotional state, allowing you to respond with patience rather than frustration. Another way to bring Stoicism into your life is by embracing daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most famous Stoics, would end each day by reflecting on what went well and where he could improve. By taking a few minutes each evening to review your actions and thoughts, you're actively cultivating self-awareness and learning from each day's experiences. This reflection is not about harsh self-criticism, it's about growth. If you acted out of frustration, ask yourself why. If you handled a situation well, acknowledge it and consider what contributed to that success. Over time, this practice builds a habit of self-improvement and empowers you to approach each day with greater intentionality. Consider asking yourself questions like, did I respond to challenges with patience today? Or, what can I do differently tomorrow to stay true to my values? By using these questions, you're actively reinforcing the qualities you want to embody. Stoic philosophy also teaches us to appreciate what we have instead of focusing on what's missing. Seneca advised, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This idea is powerful in our modern world, where we're constantly pushed to achieve more, gain more, and focus on the next big thing. By practicing gratitude, we shift our attention from what we lack to what we already have, which can greatly improve our mindset and overall happiness. Try starting each morning by noting a few things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a good cup of coffee, a conversation with a friend, or the opportunity to learn something new. Gratitude grounds us in the present moment, reminding us that life's joys are often found in simple things. Finally, integrating Stoic philosophy means embracing life's uncertainties with courage and resilience. Life is unpredictable, and the Stoics understood this well. They taught that accepting life's ups and downs with grace is a strength. When challenges arise, remind yourself of the Stoic idea of amor fati, or loving one's fate. This means embracing everything that happens, even the hardships, as part of your unique journey. Instead of resisting challenges, see them as opportunities to practice patience, resilience, and wisdom. Ask yourself, what lesson can I learn from this? By reframing obstacles in this way, you transform them into growth experiences rather than setbacks. Incorporating these Stoic principles into your daily life isn't about achieving perfection. It's about creating a mindset that supports your growth and helps you navigate life's challenges with greater ease. By focusing on what you can control, reflecting on your actions, practicing gratitude, and embracing life's uncertainties, you're actively building a life rooted in resilience, clarity, and peace. So, how can you start integrating these ideas today? Take one practice at a time and watch how even the smallest steps toward Stoicism can have a profound impact on your mindset and well-being. 16. Farewell and call to action. As you reach the end of this journey on breaking free from negativity through Stoic principles, take a moment to recognize the power of the insights you've gained. This isn't just a list of tips. It's a guide to living with greater resilience, peace, and purpose. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom is a reminder that every challenge you face is an opportunity to practice these principles, to shift your perspective, and to actively shape a life that aligns with who you truly want to be. Leaving behind negativity isn't something that happens overnight, nor is it something that's ever truly finished. It's a journey of daily choices, a path where each decision, each action, and each moment of awareness brings you one step closer to a life of clarity and purpose. Now that you've spent these past few days exploring practical ways to integrate Stoic ideas into your life, ask yourself, what's one small change you can make today? Perhaps it's focusing on gratitude, practicing mindfulness, or reflecting on the things you can and can't control. These small steps, when practiced consistently, compound into powerful changes. And the beauty of Stoicism lies in its simplicity. It's not about rigid rules or endless lists, but about guiding principles that bring peace and resilience. Life will always have its challenges, and there will be days when things don't go as planned. But Stoicism reminds us that our response is always within our control. Think about how different your life could feel if, instead of reacting to every setback, you paused, took a breath, and responded with calm, strength, and intention. By taking this path, you're not just learning to manage negativity, you're learning to approach life with a mindset that is calm, focused, and resilient. Remember that true growth doesn't happen in the peaks of success, but in the valleys of adversity. Every time you face a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This approach not only shifts your perspective, but also transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. The Stoics believed that a life lived with intention, self-discipline, and inner strength is a life of true freedom. As Seneca advised, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. Let this be a reminder that growth is a lifelong journey. Each day you choose to practice these principles, you're building a foundation of strength and purpose. So as you leave this guide, take these practices with you, apply them, and let them shape how you approach each day. If you've found value in these insights, make it a point to revisit them, reflect on your progress, and continue refining your practice. And consider sharing what you've learned with others. Sometimes, the best way to deepen your understanding is by teaching or discussing it with someone else. As we wrap up, remember that integrating Stoic principles to transform negativity into positive energy is a daily commitment, a journey toward a stronger, clearer mind, and a life filled with purpose. Every small step you take adds to this story you're writing, helping you build resilience and a balanced perspective. If today's insights resonated with you, consider subscribing to Stoic in Your Life and turning on notifications so you never miss a new video. Each one brings fresh tools and perspectives that could be the spark you need. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What step will you take today to shift toward positivity? Share in the comments, and let's inspire each other to keep growing. Thank you for being here, for investing in yourself, and for choosing a life guided by wisdom and intention. I look forward to seeing you in the next video as we explore even deeper ways to live a meaningful, empowered life.